Hey guys, Brian Karp, Sales Giant here. Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers. Karp Chronicles, week 20, backyard is up and running. Life is good, weather is good, loving it. This week, I really want to dive into something that about 3 years ago, I realized, and it's something I've been trying to do with my kids, and I recommend you guys do it. But the reason I'm a success today, and the reason that I believe that I've been so successful in everything such as athletics and business and real estate and relationships is all because of my mother. And what my mother did super special my entire life as a teenager and as a young boy, all she ever did was tell me how incredibly special I was and that everything I touched turns to gold. And I know it sounds crazy as an adult who's 40 years old to say that. Even today, she still says it to me. But the reason I want to point this out to you guys is I think that she subconsciously convinced me that I was special, that I was destined for greatness, that I was the chosen one. I know that sounds funny, but you know, that all good things were coming to me. And I, as a young man, believed that. I literally am the most positive person you guys have ever met. So now, of course, I do believe you make your own luck. And I do believe the harder you work, the luckier you are. And if you're sitting on the couch all day long, you're not going to have the life that you want if you're trying to achieve big things. But I really believe that my mother subconsciously convinced me of all of those things. So I try to do that with my kids as best as I can. It's easy to say when you're making a video. It's a lot harder when they're not listening to you and there's a million things going on. But if you guys could do anything for your kids, if you could do anything special, just tell them how special they are, how amazing they are, that everything good is coming to them, because my mother did that to me and I literally walked right into it. All right, so let's get into some real estate stuff. Got to be quick because we got people coming over. Have a brand new listing that I just put on the market on Friday in Comac. This property is special. It has a legal accessory apartment. Literally, the way me and Jessica started off our entire business life, investment life, and even relationship life was I bought a house that had an apartment in it, and that apartment generated more income than what we had to pay for the mortgage. We were literally living there paying like $100 a month. And that's how we started our entire lives, because we had no overhead. So guys, this is a steal, $830,000. The house is really special because a little piece of the house is on Smithtown Township. Most of the house is on Huntington. So you get Comac School District, award-winning, plus you get all the amenities at Smithtown and you get all the amenities that Huntington has. So really excited. We did an open house yesterday. 20 people through. Insane. Love it. Cannot wait. As a landlord who now owns, we have 20 properties, 19 multifamilies or residential, and 1 commercial building that we're building right now. I forget sometimes that I'm gonna have turnover, and I hate turnover. Nothing do I love more when all 50 tenants pay us on the 1st and the 15th. But right now we're dealing with some turnover. What we have done is we've set up all the turnover to happen the spring and the summer months, just so the weather is nicer and people are more likely to want to move into our units. So I'm just a little nervous because I have 2 that are coming up in July, big ones. I have them listed, both of them, 3,200. One's in Smithtown, one is in Sachem. Beautiful houses in great little spots and great areas. But if we don't rent them, then I'm gonna be $6,000 less in our monthly cash flow. So just something for me that I'm fighting with inside. Thought this is like my psychiatrist section. I get to vent to you guys and you can't tell me that I'm crazy. A lot of properties I put into contract last week. 3 properties, a beautiful house I was telling you guys about out in Riverhead, 55 and older, in full contract. The property that we had the issue where the buyer got bumped out by somebody else, that whole situation got even worse, unfortunately. And I get it. People get so upset and so emotional about the purchase, and the sellers do too. I have a tolerance because I do this every day, but you know, there's some crazy stories of what people do and how people get so upset over it. So that one went in the contract, then another condo in the Hunt Club. So for me, I always, and this is for anyone who's a real estate agent or a salesperson, I always want to have business coming in the front door, right? New people who need my help. I always want to make sure the properties that we have listed are going into contract. And then once in a while, I like a closing so we could run the whole business. So I feel good that 3 properties just went into contract, and now I'm waiting for some new people who need my help. So if you guys need my help, holler at your boy. Something that just happened with my syndication. We have 2 properties that were in contract. We're supposed to be closing both of them in May. Looks like we're not going to be closing the Troy Apartments in May. I'm going to reach out to my limited partners this week and let them know. Freddie Mac, who is our agency lender who gives us all the loans, they paused and froze our file for 30 days. The reason they did that is because the person that we're buying it from, this is on multifamily, totally different from residential. When you're buying residential real estate, the banks look at you, the borrower. On multifamily, they really care about the asset and the income the asset is generating. So what ended up happening is the seller is a mom and pop, right? You always feel like you want to buy a property from a mom and pop and not an institutional buyer, like what will be one day. And that, it's funny because our last asset, we bought it from an institutional buyer, institutional seller. The guy had like 2,500 units. He was amazing to deal with paperwork wise, but was an asshole because he ended up raking us over the coals at the end for $25,000. Now we're dealing with a mom and pop. They're very nice. They're not like rushing us. They're like, close whenever you guys want to close, but they're impossible to get paperwork from. So Freddie Mac shut down our file because we couldn't get the paperwork about the asset and the rents. And the rents are starting to trend down. So what that means is the seller, he's in contract, so he's not doing an as good job of his collections, so the collections are going down. So Freddie Mac is like, this is not a great asset. It's not cash flowing. It's an amazing asset. Trust me, we own one 5 minutes down the road, so I know we're going to turn this thing into something special. So they asked us to freeze it for 30 days, tell the seller to get collections up, and then we'll resubmit that. So that one's probably going to close the end of July. And what else did I have for you guys today? We spoke about the apartment, spoke about Mother's Day. I'm really trying to do as much research as possible on crypto. I'm really fascinated by it. I know I'm about a decade late. I'm very fascinated by Bitcoin. A lot of the guys that I listen to are pushing it hard. I think we're going to watch that for a little bit. I'm trying to get my 10,000 hours in. And then I think we're going to make an allocation of our capital and bury it in crypto for a decade. I believe that it's going to increase maybe even 10x in the next decade. I don't think it's a quick asset, but I think if we bury it in Bitcoin, and I think it's going to do very well over the next decade with all the inflation and everything that's happening. So that's what I got for you guys this week. Keep it nice and short. Happy Mother's Day to all our mothers. If you guys like this content, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I always feel better when I get new subscribers. I know that people are listening. Write me a comment. Tell me if you want me to go in a certain direction, things you like, things you don't like, and I'll see you guys next week. Week 20, I'm almost halfway through the year.